Welcome to the Warrior in Progress podcast. This podcast features honest and vulnerable discussions about how to make lasting mindset shifts. Through these mindset shifts, you'll be able to commit to yourself and stop sabotaging yourself so you can transform your life. I'm your host, Jennifer McKee, certified health coach and motivational speaker. Look, I've been there. I've done that. I've lost over 50% of my body weight naturally. That's 185 pounds. I invite you to subscribe to the Warrior in Progress podcast for motivational, inspirational, and thought-provoking topics where I'll share with you some practical tools that I've learned on my journey so far that will empower you and help you to access that inner warrior that's inside each and every one of us. Are you ready to get started? Let's go. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Warrior in Progress podcast. I'm so happy to have you here. Today I'm going to be talking about the keys to achieving your goals, mainly how to create healthy habits. This is a huge key in achieving your goals and being able to continuously grow. This was a key that I did not know about until like a little over 5 years ago. So let me give you an example. I had been yo-yo dieting for the majority of my life. I was always looking for a quick fix. I was trying everything from, eating 1,200 calories a day to trying different types. I even did the breadstick diet. I did the breadstick diet. I did Weight Watchers. I did Jenny Craig, and I was always cutting corners because I wanted a quick fix, okay? I wanted to lose 10 pounds a week. If I lost more than that, great. But guess what? That's not realistic. And if we are losing that amount of weight in a week, we're probably not doing it in a healthy way. So I had done that so many times and I knew that that didn't work because I could lose weight. I could just never keep it off. And the other thing I recognized is that my mindset was not where it needed to be. Even when I lost weight, I was still judging myself. I still didn't love myself. I still would find flaws when I looked at myself in the mirror. I didn't have compassion for myself. I didn't have respect for myself, and I certainly didn't have love for myself. And so about a little more than 5 years ago, I decided, you know what? I want to get healthy. Yes, I want to lose weight. I was 358 pounds. But I recognized that more importantly, I needed to change my mindset and my relationship with myself. And I knew that a quick fix wasn't going to get me that, right? So I learned about creating healthy habits, and it made a lot of sense to me. If you think about it, if you think like with a diet, they're saying, okay, follow this plan, deprive yourself, exercise, 7 days a week, do all these like really crazy things, right? And you'll lose weight. Yeah, but how are you going to keep the weight off? How are you going to keep the weight off? Living your life like that is not sustainable, but you know what is sustainable? Healthy habits. So one of the biggest keys to achieving your goals is creating healthy habits. Well, how do you do that? I highly recommend the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. In this book, he talks about the importance of creating habits and how to actually create them. He talks about starting small. And his book will give you a lot more tips than I have time to share here in this podcast. So like I said, highly recommended. It's what I implemented over 5 years ago and that I continue to implement today because it works. So let me explain to you sort of in a nutshell how to create a healthy habit. The key is start small. Okay, start small. The goals that you set for yourself or promises, whatever you want to call them, they need to be easy. If you try to do too much at once, you're going to get overwhelmed and most likely quit, right? I used to do that all the time. I thought I had to be, I have that all or nothing perfectionist thinking. So I thought I had to be, eating 100% clean. I had to be exercising 7 days a week. I had to be drinking a gallon of water a day. I had to be doing all of these things. Like I couldn't eat out ever. All these things. And that never worked. I would get so overwhelmed after like 1 or 2 weeks of doing that I would say, gosh, this is too hard. I can't do it. And then I'd go and order a pizza and eat the whole dang thing. You know what I mean? So start small, meet yourself where you are at. And then what you do is you build on it over time. So example, when I first started out When I implemented this, I thought, okay, what's something easy that I can do that is not going to overwhelm me? For me, it was to take a multivitamin every day. I'm like, okay, I can do that. That's like simple, okay? The other thing, I was supposed to be drinking, I can't recall now, half of my body weight in ounces of water a day, which was something crazy like 21 cups of water because I was so heavy. And I knew that I could not commit to drinking 21 cups of water a day. That was way too overwhelming for me. So I said, okay, well, I can commit to 8 cups of water. I'm going to meet myself where I'm at. I'm going to start with 8 cups of water a day. The other goal that I created for myself committed to was to track my food every day. That's it. Track my food every day. No, not to hit my numbers every day, to track my food every day. I was meeting myself where I was at. Even if I binged, even if I didn't eat healthy, I committed to tracking my food so that I could see what the numbers were. Okay, so those are the 3 main ones that I committed to when I first started. And so after I did those things for a few weeks, they started to become a habit. How did they become a habit? Because I was consistently doing them every day. I wrote down what my goals were. I read them every single day, and I checked in with myself multiple times a day to see where I was with it. Was I perfect? No. But I would learn from my mistakes and just keep moving forward. So after about a few weeks, I got very comfortable with drinking 8 cups of water. So what I did was I built on that. I said, okay, now I'm going to drink 12 cups of water. I just did a little baby step, right? And then I just kept building on these things over time. And I was continuously creating new healthy habits by committing to small change. Those small changes add up to massive transformation over time. So that's really how you create a healthy habit. So how long does it take to create a healthy habit? Well, it really depends on what it is. It depends on what it is and how much you commit to it, really. If you're just half-assing it and committing to it like a couple times a week, it's probably not going to become a habit. It's something that you have to be very intentional about. And the reason I always recommend writing down what your goals are and reading them every day is because if they're not a habit, we're not going to remember to do it. It's not going to be second nature, right? We're going to have to remind ourselves of what we've committed to. I also recommend reading your why and your vision, which I'm going to do a separate podcast episode on that. But because then you can remind yourself why you're committing to these goals, why you're committing to it, So creating healthy habits is a huge key, one of the biggest keys to achieving your goals, being able to lose the weight and keep it off. Because when you create healthy habits, these are things you're going to be doing the rest of your life. So when you hit a certain number on the scale, you don't stop doing these things. You're going to continuously do these things and continue to build on them over time. I will tell you, it is very easy to slip back into old habits. Very easy. If we've been doing something a certain way our whole life, our brains have been programmed to think in certain ways and to do certain things. If we are not intentional and if we don't stay on top of these healthy habits that we're creating and want to maintain, our old ways of thinking come back, which can then influence our behaviors. And we can slip back into old self-destructive behaviors. It has happened to me. I am not perfect. I have to stay very aware and very vigilant. Okay, so the second key to achieving your goals is to understand and accept that there is no quick fix. This is going to take time. We cannot unlearn things that we have learned in one day, okay? We can't do that. We cannot create healthy habits in one day. This is going to take time. It's an investment, but it is worth it. I always tell people if it takes you 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years to get to where you want to get to as far as creating these healthy habits, that is a small amount of time in the grand scheme of your life, and it's worth it. It's worth it. You are worth it, because then you can have your life back, or maybe the life you never had. I know that I have a life right now that I never thought I could have. Is it perfect? No. Is this a destination? No. It's a journey. It's a journey. And, you might have heard me say this before, but, I found that on my journey that I would work on things and I'd work on things and I'd work on things and things would improve. And then something else would be revealed to me that I needed to work on. And I welcome the challenge now. And I've gone through some very difficult times, just like all of you have. But I really, truly believe that if you implement these tools, you can make it through. Okay? So we have to be willing to accept that there is no quick fix and that this is going to take time. The other thing with that is we have to unlearn, like I said, these things that we thought we knew. We thought eating 1,200 calories a day and, cutting corners and all this stuff would get us to our goals quicker. Exercising more and eating less. We thought these things would get us to our goal. Yes, we may lose weight that way, but let me ask you a question. Have you ever been able to keep off the weight that way? Exactly. The third key to achieving your goals: trust the process. Let go, surrender. Surrender that maybe you don't know how to get there, that maybe you don't know how to lose the weight and keep it off. And it doesn't have to be weight loss. It can be anything that you're trying to achieve. Maybe you're dealing with an addiction, or maybe you're dealing with a toxic relationship or a toxic work environment, or whatever the case may be. If we understand that by trying to control doesn't get us to where we want to get to, and if we let go and surrender, trust the process, and learn new things, be open to learning new things, be willing to learning new things, that is where I think growth can happen. When we let go of control, we're stepping out of our comfort zone. And that is the only place where real growth can happen. So let me give an analogy regarding this. I love this analogy. If you think about a baby that's learning to walk, that baby, at first is crawling, eventually stands up on her own. She walks a few steps, and everyone who's watching is clapping and so excited. The baby's, she's finally walking on her own. Oh my gosh, this is so amazing. And then she falls flat on her face. Does the baby give up? Does the baby say, well, I guess I can't walk? No. The baby stands up with maybe the help of the mom or the dad or whoever's there, like a little bit of help, right? But they can't walk for the baby. The baby has to learn how to do that on her own, right? They help her up. They're there to support her, right? And guess what? She keeps trying. She keeps trying. She keeps trying until eventually she's walking on her own without any help. When we trust the process and we keep putting one foot in front of the other, no matter how many times we fall down, and keep trying, and we reach out for support when we need it, we can get to where we want to get to. But we have to be willing to learn from our mistakes. And remember, I don't like to say mistakes. I like to say learning opportunities, right? We learn from those situations where perhaps we wish we had made a different choice, right? We understand it's progress, not perfection. Progress, not perfection. Look, life's going to get in the way. Life will get in the way of your plans. It happens without fail. That's okay. We learn how to be adaptable and flexible and reach out for help when we need it. But most importantly, when life gets in the way, we are still doing something to commit to ourselves. So let's say that I'm doing I have 5 different commitments to myself, 5 different goals that I'm committing to. And life gets in the way and I can't do all 5 of them that particular day. Great, I commit to 2 of those things or 3 of those things, because committing to something or doing something for myself is better than doing nothing. Okay? So, one of my favorite quotes is by Tony Robbins. I have actually a lot of his quotes are my favorite quotes, but if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always gotten. So for the call to action, I want you to ask yourself, what have I been doing over and over and over again that is not working? That's not getting me lasting results. Okay? So ask yourself, what have I been doing over and over and over again that is not getting me results? I want you to write down what that is. Maybe it's a couple of things. Number 2, what can you learn from that situation? What can you be grateful for from having gone through that situation? And number 3 for the call to action, what can you try today that is different? Like, what action can you take today that is different? Because what you're doing is not working. And so are you willing to accept that? And are you willing to try something new? Just like the baby who fell down when she was learning how to walk, she had to try something different. Maybe she turned her foot inward a little bit and she tripped herself. So the next time when she stood up, she had to learn how not to do that, right? So what can you try today? What action can you take today, no matter how small it is, that's different from what you've been doing? I highly recommend you reach out for support because we cannot do this alone. We need help, and that's okay. It doesn't mean we're not good enough or anything like that. We all need support. So I encourage you to take it one step at a time, start small, build on these healthy habits, and you will be so surprised where you'll be in 6 months, in a year's time. You're going to be doing these things every single day. I still take my multivitamin every day. I'm drinking a gallon of water at least a day. I'm tracking my food every day. There's things that I am doing to the best of my ability. And no, I am not perfect, as I mentioned, but I am still doing these things that I was doing on day 1. And when I have not done those things, I have found myself to slip back very quickly into old ways of thinking and acting. And I had to really get myself back on track by committing to myself again. And having an accountability partner is such a great way to do that. Somebody that you check in with every single day, tell them what you are committing to today, and then check in with them throughout the day. Let them know how you're doing. And if you did not achieve the particular goal or didn't commit to the goal, to let somebody else know. When we don't share that with someone else, it's very easy for us to keep ourselves in denial, tell ourselves it's not that bad, and before we know it, we're binging, or we are isolating, or we're doing unhealthy, self-destructive behaviors. So the more that we can hold ourselves in integrity, keep ourselves in integrity by reaching out to somebody else. We cannot keep ourselves in integrity on our own. It doesn't work that way. We have to reach out to somebody else and let them know what's going on, and vice versa. That support and an accountability partner, in my opinion, are crucial keys to being successful. So to recap, the keys to achieving your goals: create healthy habits and continue to hold yourself accountable with those healthy habits. Understand and accept that there is no quick fix. You might have to unlearn some of the things that you thought you knew. Remember, you don't know what you don't know. 3, trust the process. Let go, surrender, learn from your mistakes, and keep moving forward. Keep standing up just like that baby learning to walk. And as I mentioned at the very end of this, I really want to just reiterate how important support is and an accountability partner. Thank you so much for listening, and I really hope that you enjoyed today's episode. If you enjoyed this episode of the Warrior in Progress podcast, then please share it with your friends, share it with everybody. Make sure to subscribe to this podcast as well so you can get notifications on when I release new episodes. Meanwhile, you can follow me on social media. On Facebook, my handle is fullycommitted13, and on Instagram, my handle is fully_committed13. You can find out more about my work at McKeeHealth.com. That's McKeeHealth.com. And make sure to download my free Tame Your Inner Critic guide at McKeeHealth.com, and you can learn how to stop beating yourself up, how to stop sabotaging yourself so that you can achieve your goals. Remember, you're a warrior in progress, and you can do anything you set your mind to.